made by counsel for the respondent, to whom I talk to the governor, and with utmost respect to my senior Speaker. Permit me, Mr. Speaker, sir, to inform my senior and counsel, Mr. Keegan, that the motion that is before this assembly is a motion that has been tabled pursuant to Standing Order number 60 of the DC County Standing Orders, and that Standing Order number 62, therefore, will not be the appropriate order for purposes of these proceedings. I am most obliged.
Thank you. I think, Wakili, this standing of ours, they are very clear, because the standing order 60 and 61 states clearly the removal of the governor and the deputy governor, and the 62, of course, it is the removal of the county executive committee member. So without much wasting time, Wakili, please let us move forward so that we save time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I will in that case proceed. I trust, first of all, what my colleague said, that 62 doesn't apply. I agree with him, and I did not refer to 62. Number two, Mr. Speaker, 63.2 says you should give us at least 3 days notice of the material you intend us to respond to. I don't know if you are saying you're giving us today public participation report. Are we to count the 3 days before we come to respond to you from today, or do you still want us to respond, notwithstanding that you didn't give us? And lastly, Mr. Speaker, you emphasized on how you are a lawyer and you are CPA. I pray that you jealously protect your space as a speaker and do not delegate it to Mr. Ndegwa. Mr. Ndegwa has no audience. The law provides for only advocates for the accused.
Thank you. I think, Wakili, I know I am the speaker, and I have not delegated, and I will not delegate my duties to anybody. But by and large, honorable members, I know Wakili Keegan knows very well that here we are not even close examining. It is only that the requirement in the constitution that we do some of these activities. And if you so wish, as I have said, that any report you need, you will be handed over for your consumption. Because at the end of the day, Wakili, at the end of the day, although we are the assembly, we are not like national parliament. I mean the Senate. Yeah. So for your own consumption, because some of these things, the deputy governor is one of us. The members are making decisions. At the end of the day, if they make a decision to send him to the Senate, then you will need those documents at the Senate. And I know, Wakili, you know that. Kindly let us proceed.
Thank you very much. I will lead the deputy governor in his defense. Thank you. Now, so, could you introduce yourself, please?
Mr. Speaker, honorable members, my name is the Honorable Dr. Robert Monda. I'm sure you've known this, and I am the Deputy Governor of Kisii County for this government.
Thank you. Now, could you confirm that you have filed an affidavit and supporting material in your defense?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I have filed an affidavit supporting my defense to this House.
And it is the affidavit sworn on the 28th of February 2024, and you want to rely on it in your defense.
True, that is the position, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Now, I'd like you to look at your report, and I would like to take you to paragraph 6. Could you confirm that your understanding of the case brought against you is that number 1, you received a bribe from Dennis Misati? Could you confirm that the counts, as you understood them, are 6-1, is that you received a bribe from Mr. Dennis Misati?
I've seen this allegation, Mr. Speaker, that Mr. Dennis Misati gave me a bribe of, at one instance, it is indicated 799,000. At another, it is 800,000. And
okay, we will come to the details of that, but let's just run through them. The first one is that you received a bribe from Dennis Misati. You can see that?
No,
I'm saying you can see that is the charges against you.
Yes. That's
number 2 is that you gave out a bribe to one Lucy Ukwahito.
Yes, that's
the
another
allegation.
Yes.
Number 3, Mr. Dennis Misati.
I'm accused for threatening Mr. Dennis Misati.
Number 4 is misusing the county staff.
I am accused for misusing county staff.
And lastly, that you caused the arrest of your brother, Mr. Matunduda.
Yes, I'm accused.
Do you accept any of the charges? Do you accept any of these charges?
No, I do not.
Okay, I would like us to start then. We have 2 hours. I would like us to go to the issue of the bribe from Dennis Misati. Your position, as you've already said, is that it is not true.
It is not true that I have bribed one Dennis Mokaya Misati.
But that you received a bribe from Dennis.
I've not received any bribe from Dennis Mokaya Misati.
Okay. Did you receive any money from Dennis Misati? Let's start with that. There's an M-Pesa statement that has been here, that has been produced. You had quite a number of the honorable members making the point that indeed it seems some money came to you. Let's start there. Is it true that some money came to you from the
Mr. Speaker?
True, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, I heard very well what my senior learned friend, Mr. Kigen, indicated. And it is true, the law presupposes that the person who is due for removal, be it the deputy governor or the governor, shall be heard. In my interpretation of the word shall be heard means that in such an instance where the defense chooses to examine the deputy governor in chief, then it is always the law of evidence and the rules of evidence that the county assembly then must be granted an opportunity to cross-examine the witness. Or else, Mr. Speaker, we need a determination as to what amounts to be a right to be heard, number 1, what amounts to a hearing, and in what form and nature and manner shall the deputy governor be heard. Is the council then allowed to examine him in chief? I'm also obliged.
Mr. Speaker, may I know first of all whether my colleague has any audience? And after you've made that determination, I pray that you restore our 15 minutes that he has taken.
First of all, I want to wakili for the mover, the advocate for the mover, or the person representing the mover. You have to give the side of the defendant 2 hours uninterrupted. So in case you have any other issue that you want to raise concerning the presentation, you can do so at the end of the presentation. He has only taken 2 minutes, so we'll refund them to you. Thank you.
That's okay, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much for the direction. So I was asking the question, is it true that you received some money from Dennis Misati's M-Pesa account?
True, Mr. Speaker. From Dennis Misati's number, I received 249,000.
Okay. In the body of his allegation also, he says he received another 250,000? Or do you confirm receipt of that 250?
True, I received 250,000 from Mr. Joseph Doyle Misati, who happens to be father to Dennis Mokaya Misati.
So you confirm receipt of?
I confirm receipt of
249 from Dennis and
yes.
250 from Joseph, my father.
Right.
And then there is 300,000 that he said you received in cash.
Unless, Mr. Speaker, there is a proof to the same, I have not received any monies in cash in my stadium office.
What do you mean, unless there is proof? Did you receive or you didn't you receive?
I did not. Yes. I did not.
Okay.
I have not received that kind of money.
Okay. Now, you have brought documents to show that the receipt and the explanation for the amount, isn't it?
Yes.
Could you tell the court, could you tell this assembly, this honorable assembly, the receipt of the money from Joseph Misati was on what basis?
Mr. Speaker, I have lived and worked in my life with said Mr. Joseph Doyle Misati for over 32 years now. In my life of working, Misati has been very, very close to my family, to my life, to my business, Mr. Speaker. While we worked, we've engaged in different businesses, including aggregate businesses in Kisii and in Nyamira counties. And so the story of having exchanges of stocks for business, monies for business, and money for our two families has been a thing that we've done over some time. And so this money, Mr. Speaker, after the elections of 2022, Mr. Misati needed some money from me as a friend and a colleague of over 32 years, which, like we had done before, I happened to have some spare money in the house after the elections. I handed over the 500,000 to Mr. Joseph Misati.
Thank you very much. So you gave him in what form?
I gave him 500,000 in cash.
And he said it was after what event?
After the general elections of 2022.
After your successful election?
After I had the successful election.
You had been successfully elected?
With the rest of these members.
Okay. Now, you stated that in paragraph 16 of your affidavit, in which you stated, and I read, before 28 May 2023, I had lent my friend Joseph Misati 500,000 shillings in cash around October-November 2022, amongst other lendings and refers between ourselves before and after that date. Is that what you've been trying to explain?
That is exactly what I've been explaining, Mr. Speaker.
Okay. And just for perspective, you saw both the affidavit from Mr. Dennis Misati and the statement that he says you are close family friends with the Misatis. That's correct?
Very correct, Mr. Speaker.
And you say that friendship has lasted over 32 years.
That is very true.
Okay. Now, so on 28th of May 2023, what happened in terms of explaining this money?
Mr. Speaker, on that material day of the 28th of May 2023, as friends, we met with Mr. Misati in my home in the evening after work. Mr. Misati came visiting and he was in the company of his sons. And so, of course, these are sons, Mr. Speaker. And of course, at our age and friendship, we moved aside to discuss our issues as friends. We left the sons taking tea and relaxing in a different house. and we were in another house sitting, the two of us. Mr. Speaker, I was due to travel out of the country in a short while, and so I asked Mr. Misati as he came, can you be able to return the money I gave you last year so that I can put in travel arrangements? Mr. Speaker, when they came, this is what we were discussing with Mr. Misati on our side, and Mr. Misati confirmed that he is able to raise money from his own account that they signed together with his wife Anne, and then he asked his wife to remit the 250,000 to the son when he transferred what he had in his phone to my number, and hence the 250,000 from Mr. Joseph Misati himself and the same Misati, because we were not in the same conversation with the son, had his instructions to his wife and his son. He only instructed the son. He called him out and told him, can you put this money your mother has transferred into your account a few minutes ago into this number? I cannot even be able to identify the son if he came here now. I do not know what Misati told his son and his wife. All I know, Misati gave instructions to the son, put this money together. And my addition, if you allow, the son deals in the allegations as presented by Ms. Sioja, or Honorable Sioja.
Record. I want the members to understand and the public.
Can I just be binary?
No.
You can ask your question. I want to take him through the details.
I just wanted to, just for record, the same information, just for the record. I'm not interrupting. I'm adding the 2 minutes. No, I'm not interrogating. I have not interrogated. I'm just giving guidance, and it's allowed. I'm the chair. I'm the chair. For the record, you can't teach me my work. For the record, I wanted to request that you make it clear. You say you cannot identify one Dennis Mukaya if he walked in here. Just for the record, so that Nancy can capture that.
Very true. If he walked in, I cannot pick him from amongst other youths.
Thank you. Proceed.
Okay. Just following up on Speaker's question. You said your family friends, isn't it?
True.
Do you know generally the children of Mr. Misati? Sorry? Do you know generally Mr. Joseph Misati's boys?
Yes, I do not know all of them. I know the eldest son to Mr. Joseph Misati, whom at one time earlier,
the eldest son is not on initially, just leave it back. Now, so I want you to just tell these honorable members, paragraph 19 of your affidavit, you have said, he therefore, that is Joseph Misati, he therefore refunded by paying 251,000 directly from his cooperative account to my phone on the say 28th May through 3 remittances of 70,000 each, remittance and 1 remittance of 40,000. And then you have annexed a copy of cooperative bank account from which the money was withdrawn, and under the account is held jointly by Joseph Misati and his wife. Could you confirm that is correct? That number one.
Mr. Speaker, that is very correct.
Just a minute. You received 70,000 three times from Joseph Misati's account and another 41,000, isn't it?
True.
And that money was transmitted directly from his account at Cooperative Bank to your number.
That is very true.
Not from his M-Pesa account.
Mr. Misati transferred the money from his cooperative bank,
yes,
to my M-Pesa number.
And you have availed these honorable members a copy of that cooperative account and your M-Pesa to explain, to show the correlation of Joseph Misati withdrawing the money and the money getting into your M-Pesa account.
That is true, Mr. Speaker.
And for the record, that cooperative account bank statement is the one on page 64 to 66 of your record.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, that is true. 64 going forward
to 66.
To 66.
And your own and your own M-Pesa statement into which the money was remitted is page 67 to 74. 67 to 74.
Mr. Speaker, that is true.
And again, another statement at page 105 to 108. That's also your M-Pesa statement.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Okay.
I've also annexed my.
So you've explained the first 251 that came from Mr. Misati, and you say it was a refund of money you had given him in around October, November 2022.
That is true.
Okay, so let's go to the 241, which Mr. Dennis Misati has particularized. And that you've explained at paragraph 20. It is your testimony that indeed your M-Pesa account received 249,000 from the M-Pesa.
That is my testimony.
That's your testimony. And you said this money, you are aware how that money got into the M-Pesa account of Mr. Dennis Misati.
Sorry?
You know how the money got into the account, into the M-Pesa account of Dennis Misati?
Yes, after getting the documents from this house.
No, just a minute. What I'm saying.
Sorry?
So Dennis sends you money.
Yes.
Do you know where Dennis sourced that money from?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Dennis got the money from his father. That's all I know, that he got the money, and inquiry, the father says he gave instructions.
He gave instructions. Who M-Pesa'd Dennis? Who sent the
report I have now is that the mother, Mama Ann Misati, M-Pesa Dennis with the 250,000, and after the transactions are made to understand, and now I know that he could only remit 249 to my account.
And could you confirm that at page 75 to 88, you have availed these honorable members of the assembly copies of the M-Pesa account of Ann Misati from which he forwarded the money to Dennis Misati?
Mr. Speaker, yes.
You confirm
that I confirm.
Okay. And you'd like to rely on that also in support of your case? So you confirm that that money came from Ann Misati, the mother, to Dennis, and then Dennis forwarded them to you, and you recall the father telling them to do it like that?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you.
The money came from the mother, Ann Misati, under the instructions of Joseph Misati, which money then Dennis Misati transacted according to the instructions of the father.
Now, you have availed this committee, you have availed this Honorable House also with the affidavit sworn by Joseph Misati at page 59 to 62. An affidavit from Joseph Misati explaining that from page 59 to 62.
Mr. Speaker, the affidavit on page 59 has been sworn by Ann Misati, and
let me just ask you the question differently, Mr. Dr. Monda. Could you confirm that at page 59 to 63, page 59 to 63, you have affidavits of Joseph Misati, the father of Dennis, and Anne Misati, the mother of Dennis.
Mr. Speaker, that is true. I have those affidavits from the two parents, Anne Misati and Joseph Misati.
And both of them have sworn the affidavits of the 28th of February 2024.
That's true, Mr. Speaker.
And the statements that you have just referred the House to were brought by the two of them to show indeed that the money came from the two of them.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I have statements from the two of them. It's showing that the money came from them.
From the two of them. And in their affidavits, have they confirmed that indeed the money related to a refund of money they are taken from you in October 2022, November 2022?
That is very true, Mr. Speaker, that the affidavit support the presentation I've had before the House.
Okay. Then I would like us to move on to the second allegation made against you, but before I move into that, just confirm two things. One, was the money a bribe?
Mr. Speaker, the money sent to me by Mr. Misati was not a bribe.
What was it?
It was a refund of monies I loaned the family.
It's money that was refunded that you had loaned to them. And secondly, whose money was it?
It was Mr. Misati's, because that's the person with whom I'm dealing.
From the paperwork, it belonged to Mr. Misati, not Dennis. Did it belong to Dennis or Mr. and Mrs. Misati?
Mr. Speaker, I'm saying the monies were refunded to me by Mr. Joseph Misati, and the son can only be a conduit by the father, sending money that the father has instructed.
Okay. And lastly, have you been called by EACC to, you've learned today, you are aware that there is allegation that this matter is under EACC investigation?
Mr. Speaker, I have not been called by the EACC or given a notice to appear before the EACC on this matter. I only came to see there is a report when I received the bundle from yourself that I have these allegations, which you sent to me on the 22nd of May, 22nd of February, I'm sorry.
Okay. So you've explained what we've just gone through in terms of the first count at paragraph 1 to 31 of the affidavit. From paragraph 32 onwards, you've explained the issue of the alleged bribery that you gave to Lucy Wahito, paragraph 32 to paragraph 39. Now, I would like to ask you before we move into that, there is the underlying question as to whether or not you were invited to assist in getting Dennis a job. You see that?
Mr. Speaker, just as good friends, myself and Mr. Joseph Misati, somewhere in April, I was made to know that there is an advert that has come up in Wasco. And Misati, as a friend, could ask me that his son has also tendered his application. Is it possible for him to be assisted to get a job? Yes.
So you are requested if you could assist?
Yes.
And did you talk to Lucy about that issue of the request by your friend, Mr. Joseph Misati?
I, like any other leader, Mr. Speaker, this request came to me. Everyone, honorable members, know that Lucy in Wasco would work under the many staff who work under the governor's office, where I'm also the deputy to the governor. And so I indicated to Lucy, asking him, do you have this kind of jobs? Yes. A friend of mine is making a request that he gets his son get a job, like every one of us here will do. And she told me, that's why not? Let's wait for the process. If he qualifies, we shall not deny him the job. And the discussions ended there.
So you merely mentioned to Lucy that you have a friend whose son has applied, and if he could be given consideration.
That is very true, Mr. Speaker, that I did.
And Lucy's response was that provided he qualifies.
Let's have the process and get the results if he qualifies.
Okay. Now, Mr. Dennis Misati, in his letter dated 19th December 2023, as moved by Honorable Soldier, says at the last paragraph at that page that the Deputy Governor, Dr. Monda, called us to his home within days of being informed by the father about the post before the interview. Now, the question I have for you is it true that you are the one who summoned them?
Haya kudai, Mr. Speaker, I was prompted by the father. I've said I did not met.
So you answered my question
before, and so I'm saying no.
Your answer to the question is that you did not summon them.
No, I did.
Okay. Now let's move to the issue of Lucy, and I want us to start with paragraph 32. Did you give Lucy a bribe?
No, Mr. Speaker, I didn't give Lucy a bribe.
Could you explain what happened? How did you, or rather, let's just remitted 100,000 to the account of Lucy?
Mr. Speaker, on the 23rd, yes. The 28th, my account, M-Pesa account, remitted 100,000 to Lucy Wahido, which I will explain.
Now, could you just go straight to explaining how did that happen, and was it for meant to bribe her to give Dennis a job?
Mr. Speaker, on that evening, I had to pay a debt of transport I'd used to ferry some building material to my home to one Gladys Aminga, who does transport business. And so I was due to give her 100,000. And as I did this, erroneously, I picked the wrong number and sent the 100,000. Then I slept without knowing that the recipient is a different person. The next morning, Mr. Speaker, before I could do my breakfast, I realized Lucy is calling me, and he has asked me, Your Excellency, you have sent me 100,000. What is the money for? I then looked at my number and told her, I'm sorry, this money was meant for a different person, Gladys Aminga. Then she will tell me, I'm traveling for a meeting in Nairobi at the airport. Is it possible for you to reverse this money? Because it was an error for the money to go to her. I told her I'll try. I've never reversed money on M-Pesa. And so she was traveling. What happened is she went as I attempted, I didn't succeed. I told her when I came that please send back the money because I'm unable to reverse. Of course, technology of reversing money is, even all of us here, you can make mistakes, the honorable members. Do I continue?
Yes. So your position on Lucy's situation. So your position on the issue of the 100,000 to Lucy is that it was an erroneous remittance of 100,000 to her account.
That is very true, Mr. Speaker. It was an error like anyone can do on M-Pesa.
Okay, and that the money was meant for who?
The money was meant for transport service for Gladys Aminga, who also happened to be a chief officer in charge of health in the county government.
Okay. And did you eventually transact with that Gladys Aminga?
Mr. Speaker, immediately I realized that sent this money to Waido as she attempted to send back and attempted to reverse. I immediately, by 9 something, which can be put right, I sent Gladys Aminga the same 100,000 before Waido even reversed the 100 had erroneously sent to her.
So in proof of the fact that it was a mistake to have sent to Lucy, you were constrained to send the 100,000 to Gladys Aminga when you realized it had gone to the wrong person.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, at the same sitting in my dining for breakfast, the same time Gladys, Lucy Waido rang and he told me of the error.
Yes.
I immediately sent the money to Gladys.
Okay. And in paragraph 35, you've shown how you sent to Gladys Aminga 100,000 on 28th of May, 40,000 on 31st May, and 65,000 on 23rd May on the transport function that you've just been telling the honorable members.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I wish to confirm that the 100,000 to Gladys Aminga was not the only amount I was to send her, so that the next installment after the installment of the 29th, which is 100,000, the next installment on the 31st, the next day, was 40,000, and finally I did another installment of on the 24th of June of 65,000 to conclude the transaction and the contract I gave Gladys Aminga.
Okay. And you have produced the same M-Pesa statements that we just went through, being your M-Pesa statements at page 105 to 108 and 89 to 104.
Mr. Speaker, true, I have annexed my statement for my M-Pesa to show the same transaction for Lucy Waido and Gladys Aminga. And that covers the transfer to Gladys Aminga, the transfer to Lucy Waido, and the sending back of the same amount on the 30th of May. That's when Lucy was able to send back the money I sent.
Very much. So Lucy White has made a statement in support of the motion moved by Honorable Socha, and you produced that statement, page 27. You've looked at that statement, isn't it?
That's
from Lucy.
Yes.
I would like you to tell these honorable members what Lucy says in the specific incident, right? In the specific incident of the conversation about the 100,000. I would like you to read paragraph 3 of her statement at page 27, the second page of her statement.
Mr. Speaker, on the morning, that is Lucy saying,
yes.
She says, on the morning of the 29th May 2023, I called the deputy governor and asked him what the money was for, and that I've said, and he kept quiet. That's according to Lucy.
So Lucy says that when she asked you what the money for, what did you do? According
to her statement, I kept quiet.
She does not say you said it is a bribe to please give a job to Dennis, does she?
No, she does not.
And is it true you kept quiet?
No, I've already said, Mr. Speaker, that when she asked me, I told her that's an error. The money was meant for Gladys Aminga. And so that is the conversation now ensuing, that you send back. She said you can reverse because I'm on transit. And finally, she did.
You already said that. And so your position is that the money to Lucy was a mistake, and you told her that it was a mistake, and you requested her to reverse, and it was reversed.
True.
Okay, let's move on to the next allegation, that you threatened Dennis Misati. You are aware of that allegation?
Mr. Speaker, I have not threatened Mr. Misati Dennis. I'm already in the record that I cannot identify Dennis Misati even if he stepped into this house.
Okay. Now, he's very specific as to the immediate event and situation that resulted in your threat. He says that he told his father and told you that he wants to report you. You've seen that allegation?
I've seen that allegation, Mr.
And in response, you threatened him.
Yes.
Now, my question is, do you remember him telling you and his father, Joseph Misati, that I intend to take action against you?
Mr. Speaker, from the time Misati left my house with his children, I have not had any interaction with this particular son or any other son, particularly Dennis.
Okay, so let me ask you sequentially. Have you had a telephone conversation since the 28th May when they came to your house and you received 500,000? Have you had any telephone conversation with Dennis Misati?
Mr. Speaker, I have not had any conversation.
Have you had any meeting?
No meeting, Mr. Speaker, with Dennis Misati.
Okay. And has he sent anybody to you?
Mr. Speaker, sir, with your great permission. Mr. Speaker, sir, we have sat here for about 1 hour, 30 minutes now, listening to one side of the story. The members of the County Assembly of Kisii are supposed to make a determination in respect to the case that is before this assembly. We're only hearing one side of the case. Names have been mentioned. There is Anne, there is Masati, there is Dennis, there is Gladys, there is Lucy. None of them is here to rebut or to confirm the proposition being put forth by the Deputy Governor. At the fullness of time, what will happen is that this will cause serious prejudice, because the Deputy Governor, according to my understanding of what the law says, was supposed to present his defense. But we have now gone into the details of examination in chief. We will then be asking, and this might complicate, that all the individuals who have been mentioned be presented before this assembly for purposes of cross-examination, so that when the members of the County Assembly makes a determination, they will do a balanced one. I'm most obliged.
The alternative, Mr. Speaker, may I ask?
The alternative, Mr. Speaker, it will be expunged off the record of this House.
Mr. Speaker, I think that is the way the Deputy Governor decided to make his submission. Let him finish his submission, because we have given him time. So let him finish his time with the submission, then we will make a decision. Because that's it. Thank you. Proceed.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And probably next time he stands, may he introduce himself as to which county, which ward in Kisii County is representing, Mr. Speaker. Now, Dr. Monda, if you could start, we proceed. The next, so your position on the allegation of threat, count number 3, is that you've never threatened him.
Mr. Speaker, and I want to be on record on this. All these honorable members know that I'm not the type who will be threatening anyone, and so I did not threaten one. Dennis Misati.
We move on to the next.
Order, members. Order.
I'm just wondering whether honorable members have decided to abandon the motion. There's a lot of talk.
That's why I brought them to the order. Proceed.
Yes. The next issue is that you use the county staff for personal use at your family farm, your dairy, your well, and your borehole. You see that?
Mr. Speaker,
you see the allegation?
I saw the allegation.
Yes.
Yes.
Is it true that you have misused the county staff for these purposes?
Mr. Speaker, for the sake of record, I will request your chair for clarity, to have the House visit my home, look at where my dairy cattle are kept, where the well mentioned in this allegation has been done recently, and also where the farm is, where I'm using the county staff. Also, you can be able to identify which is this old house, my father's old house, that the county staff live in my compound. Mr. Speaker,
let me lead you so that we cover it properly. So let's start with the issue of the family farm. You have a family farm here in Kisii County, isn't it?
I have a family, my family compound in Kisii. I do not have a farm. I have not done a single inch of a farm in
whose
my
property?
home.
Just a minute. Whose property is it?
The land belongs to my father.
It belongs to your father.
Until
Not you.
now.
Do you have any other farm in Kisii?
No.
You have no other farm.
I have farms elsewhere, not here.
Okay. Now, do you do any cultivation or agriculture on your on the land that your father has assigned you?
And it's on that, Mr. Speaker, I'm asking you create a team even in that public participation.
Yes. I'm sure the speaker will do that as we wait
so
for
that
the
they are
speaker to do
able
that.
to see that I do not own an inch of a farm.
Yes, as we await the speaker to do that, could we just answer the issues already? So the first question is, do you do any farming or agriculture?
We're giving
Yes.
directed the deputy governor to answer the question straight, because it is straightforward question.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Just answer the way I'm asking you. So the place where you are in Kisii is what your father has assigned you in your father's property.
True.
Okay. And do you do any farming on that piece that is assigned to you?
No farming, no dairy activities on that.
Just a minute, one thing at a go. So you don't plant vegetables, you don't plant avocados, you're not utilizing it for agriculture.
No agriculture of any crops.
Okay. To the issue of dairy, what do you have to say about the allegation that you're using the staff to manage your cows?
Again, I have not kept any animal for dairy in that home to date. You can visit and see.
If this assembly drives out of this house and goes to your place, there are no dairy in your farm.
I invite them after this session.
Yes.
That we go together, you survey the home together with the complainant, you let him take through the Mzee farm so that he's able to show you exactly what he's alleging.
So there's no dairy?
No dairy.
When did you last have dairy farming at your farm?
Some time back, many years back, into early 20s. When I joined politics, I'd quit any dairy activities.
So the time by the
And
time
in 2007, when I became member of parliament for Nyaribari Church.
So since 2007, you have not had any agriculture at your farm?
I have not done an agriculture or dairy.
A borehole and well. He said that you've used your people to dig a well and a borehole.
Mr. Speaker, I have a borehole that I did in the early 20s. After my mother died, I lived in the home. And I will also invite the house to come and be shown by the complainant where that new borehole has been done. Because it doesn't exist, I've not done a borehole.
So since you became deputy governor, you've not dug a borehole?
No borehole, Mr. Speaker.
And in your affidavit, you say the borehole compound was dug in the year 2003. Do you maintain that position?
Indeed, it's not a borehole, it's a well.
House the county staff in the house that belongs to your father so that you can be exploiting them. What do you have to say about that?
Mr. Speaker, with your permission, I do not house county staff in my father's house. My father has no house in the section of our land which belonged to my mother. And nobody crosses over to where my father is with my stepmother. in a different section of our land. So how do I keep workers from the county in a house that is not in existence? My mother's house we demolished it long ago.
So
and I invite you to come and be shown the old house belonging to my father that the county staff living. By the complainant.
Thank you. So your position is that you do not have any house belonging to your father on your side of the
I don't.
Okay.
I don't have.
Lastly, on this issue, what do you use? So your father gave you some space of land. What do you use it for now that you say you don't use it for dairy, you don't use it for farming?
I have 2 sections on the land that is under my use. One where I have my residency, my house.
Yes.
And of course, the accompanying structures. 2, the lower portion of the land where I have planted trees, which I did early before I even became an MP.
In your affidavit, you said you planted the trees in the year 2007. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So, and you host people as a politician, you host people in your company. So, if the speaker were to allow, a number of these MCAs may have visited you and can confirm that, isn't it? Sorry? I'm saying, if the speaker were to allow, a number of these honorable MCAs can confirm that they have been to your farm and what you're describing is correct.
Very true, and I welcome them again to go.
Okay. Now, so the last allegation against you is that you caused the arrest of your. Did you want to say anything else about the farm and the use of staff?
Mr. Speaker, the only thing I wanted to add here for record is that the complainant is not a member of staff of Kisii County. I will request that from your chair and honorable members, you get to know who are these county staff whom I'm misusing, and have they done any affidavit or made a statement or made a complaint to the supervisors other than myself, because I'm not young in myself. The governor is there. There are officers who are supervising the officers who are delegated or sent to the residences.
So as we wait for that to happen, have you seen any affidavit from any staff member of Kisii County saying that I was assigned to serve the deputy governor and is misusing me to milk his cows?
Mr. Speaker, I say no, because they can't keep cows that I don't have. They can't cultivate what I don't own.
Yes.
So where are they? I do not also know if I have that staff sent to me for misuse. I don't.
Lastly,
the only people, Mr. Speaker, who come to my home are enforcement officers, an average of 4, who do security business in the night and in the morning or in the day. The others are personal staff provided for by or in the SRC.
So the county, apart from the 4 enforcement officers, you have staff assigned to you by the county under the SRC.
Yes, who are on contract just like me.
Yes.
As personal staff.
How many are they?
There are 6.
Has any of them complained to you or to anybody, to the best of your knowledge?
Mr. Speaker, if they did, then they should have also complained to the head of public service, but none of them has complained about being misused.
Okay. I want us to move to the last allegation, being that you had your brother arrested. And the first question I want to ask you is, do you know the gentleman by the name Mr. Matundura, and how do you know him?
Through Reuben Orangi Matundura Monda is my brother. In his affidavit, he claims I am number 4 in the family, I'm number 3. Number 2, he claims is my second follower, my immediate follower is not, he's my second follower. And so, he is my brother.
He is your brother?
Yes.
Is it true he was arrested?
True, he was arrested.
Could you tell this?
Under my instigation, under my instructions. That I want to make it clear.
Which question are you answering now? He was arrested, isn't it?
He was arrested.
Who arrested him?
Mr. Speaker, it is the police who arrested my brother.
And how did they arrest you?
They arrested him because he had trespassed into making timber out of my trees and making it look like he is
Okay,
free.
so he cut your trees.
Yes.
He cut your trees and you are unhappy.
Yes.
Then what happened?
I reported to the police.
You reported to the police.
Because even Mr. Speaker, I turned around and picked the panga and cut him like other people do. Would that be more law than what I did?
Okay, just answer my questions. So he cut your trees, you went and reported to the police.
I reported to the police at the
Kiungu police station. And then what happened?
The police moved in, found my brother cutting the trees, making timber, and they picked him from the tree chamber.
So Your Excellency, did you report him or issued instructions?
Issuing instructions and reporting him.
Yes.
I reported him to have trespassed into my section of the chamber.
Yes. Do you have powers to instruct for anybody's arrested?
No. How can I?
So you see the carelessness of answering a question you haven't been asked.
Order.
So all you are telling these honorable members is that you took a report like anybody else saying somebody is cutting my trees. True. And the police had the choice of whether or not to arrest him, isn't it? True. And did they arrest him?
Yes, they did.
They arrested him. Were you part of the people arresting him?
I only took them there to show them whom I'm accusing.
Okay. You took them to identify. True. It is said that you summoned a contingent of over 20 people from the county to assist in the arrest. Did anything like that happen?
Mr. Speaker, Kiungu is the headquarters of Nyaribari Charges of County.
Just answer my question directly. Did you have a contingent of...
Deputy Governor, answer the question to yes or no. This is not a big deal.
Did you mobilize a contingent of over 20 people to guard?
No, I did not.
You did not?
Yes.
The arrest was done entirely by the police. True. Thank you very much. Now, and so the question is whether the trees belongs to you or to your brother, Mr. Matundura, isn't it?
Yes.
That question of who is the owner of the trees is it an issue that is being considered? Sorry? So Mr. Matundura in his complaint says the trees belong to me. You are here saying they belong to you, isn't it?
Yes.
Have the two of you gone anywhere for the determination of who is the owner of those trees?
That my father is aware that I've asked the same, that the land be divided and given titles according.
Let me ask you differently, yes, Mr. Monda. Is it true that you raised the question of investigation and determination of the ownership of the trees to the police?
No.
The police are not investigating who is the owner of the trees?
The police, I reported to the police, I own the trees.
Yes. And are they investigating it? Is it an issue which is going on?
Yes, because after arresting him,
yes,
I've not got a feedback on the same.
And in the statements he has made, he says he's on bail.
Yes, it's on bail until we are called to court.
Okay. If these honorable members wanted to determine whether or not you are guilty of having him arrested, are they in a position to determine who is the owner of the trees? To the best of your knowledge?
Yes, they will.
Okay. Now, and you have obtained the material to show that indeed the trees belong to you.
Yes.
And in your bundle at page 118 to 121, I would like you to see page 118 to 120, 118 to 120. What have you afraid these honorable members to give an indication on the competition as to the ownership of the trees? What have you brought?
Mr. Speaker, on those pages,
Order members.
I brought affidavits from 2 members of the community in my village. One Joseph War Aurora and another Kenneth Gichaba Machuka to ascertain or confirm to this house that these trees belong to me. And my work, Mr. Speaker, Nemuel Mangwanyangau, who worked for me at that time and participated in the planting of the trees.
So you brought an affidavit from your employee who in the year 2007 assisted you in planting the trees.
Yes.
And two neighbors who have lived there since before 2007 and also you planting the trees.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
And you request these honorable members to look at it and find that indeed you did not unjustly complain against Mr. Matundura, your brother.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Okay. Now, I would like us to cover two issues, then we close. The first one I would like you to, so that we just have on record, could you confirm that the motion before this House was moved on the 13th of February?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, the notes of motion was,
and that is the one at page 5.
Yeah, at page 5, Mr. Speaker, the motion for my removal from office was brought by the Honorable Siocha Esongori on the 13th of February 20.
In preparing yourself
2024, sorry.
Yes, sorry. And in preparing yourself to come and appear before these honorable members, you looked at the law around what you need to come and do in your defense, isn't it?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
And you made particular reference to Standing Order number 60.
True, Mr. Speaker.
Could you read the part I have highlighted in that Standing Order number 60?
Standing Order number 61.
60 sub 1, yes.
Yeah, 60 sub 1. Before giving a notice of motion under Section 33 of the County Governments Act 2012, the member shall deliver to the clerk a copy of the proposed motion in writing stating the grounds and particulars upon which the proposal is made.
Could you let the Speaker know if the motion that the Speaker forwarded to you for as being the motion, the notice upon which you have come here to respond has the grounds and particulars contemplated by Standing Order number 60?
Mr. Speaker, I confirm that the notice of motion I received from the bundle you sent me did not have the particulars of this motion.
And you request that the honorable members take that into account in terms of the propriety of the allegation, isn't it?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I do.
Okay. Now, I would like to show you the statement from Mr. Dennis Mokaya, because that is Dennis Mokaya which is the main complaint in this case. That is statement recorded on which date?
The statement from Dennis, Mr. Speaker, is dated 19th December 2023.
Yes. And in it?
And it's addressed to the Honorable Wycliffe Siocha Esongori, who is the mover of this motion.
Yes. Is Honorable Wycliffe your friend?
My friend? Today, no, I found them on the floor, but until this motion, Mr. Speaker.
So it's your friend.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on. Yeah. He has been your friend. Now, in page 2 of Mr. Misati's statement of 19th of December 2003 at page 2, item he has enclosed advertisement for the job, his application for the job, email from Kwaso inviting him to attend the interview, and then there's a statement for the month of May 2023 showing transactions of 249,000. Can you see that?
Yes, I do, Mr. Speaker.
I'd like to show you the statement. Is it true that you have, the Speaker sent you the statement? As part of the bundle he was giving you, the Speaker, when he was inviting you to come and defend yourself.
Yeah, the statement.
Yes.
Sorry, Mr. Speaker.
We will come back to that issue. Yeah, we got it. And the statement of Dennis is attached, and it is at page 21 to 22 of your bundle, isn't it?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Now, could you tell the court what is the date of the request for that statement?
Mr. Speaker, the statement according to
Order, let him
M-Pesa,
proceed. Let him proceed, Honorable Peter. Order.
the statement is dated 29th January 2024.
29th January 2024. So as at 19th December 2023, when he's saying he's enclosing, did he have that statement?
Mr. Speaker, no.
He did not. And as Mr. Honorable Soja explained how these documents are created when he was moving the motion against you, has he explained how a document which is post-dated the letter came into being?
He has not explained.
He has not explained.
Yes, Mr.
Now, the other thing I want you to look at is the last paragraph in page 1 of the statement. It says, can I read or you want to read? Of Dennis Mokaya's statement?
Yeah,
Yes.
I can read.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, it says the Deputy Governor, Dr. Robert Monda, called us to his home within days of being informed by my father about the post. And before the interview was carried out, he had a brief meeting over the matter whereby he told us that the job is guaranteed, but we have to pay something to the managing director in order for the board members to help us out. He asked us to raise the sum of Kenya shillings 800,000 in order to have the job guaranteed.
You read the next slide.
We gave a sum of 299,000 to the deputy governor as follows.
So, you already said you are not the one who called them, but you agree that there was a meeting, isn't it?
Not this one.
Not this one.
No.
Okay. Now, could you confirm when was the money said to have been given as a bribe? When is it said the money that was a bribe was given? When, according to Dennis, was the money given?
According to Dennis, the money is said to have been given on the 28th of May 2023.
And was that before or after the interviews?
Mr. Speaker, according to records given by Dennis himself, the interviews he took were done on the 15th of May 2023, and the visit by his father to me, accompanied by Dennis and his brothers, was on the 28th, 13 days after the interviews.
So your position is that it cannot be true that you are bribing before the interviews, nor for purposes of influencing the interviews, because the interviews have been done 13 days before.
That is the position,
Mr. Speaker. Okay. Now, Mr. Dennis says at the same paragraph, the last paragraph at page 1 of his statement, I will read what he just read. We had a brief meeting over the matter whereby he told us that the job is guaranteed, but we would have to pay something for the managing director in order for the board members to help us out. You've seen that?
I've seen that, Mr. Speaker.
How is the scoring and the determination of a successful applicant done at Quascom?
Mr. Speaker, I may not have the detail because I don't know it.
Okay. But does the MD, managing director, in this case, Lucy Wahito, unilaterally determine who gets employed?
It is the board to determine who gets employed.
It's not one person.
It's not Lucy.
And how does the board determine that?
Of course, looking at the grades they have scored.
They score them.
Yes.
Okay. Now, in the statement brought by Mr. Nisati and Honorable Soja, have you seen any allegation of remittances of monies to each of the board members to influence them to assist Dennis?
No, this.
Okay, so before I hand you up, before I give you free rein to say what you want to say, I just want to say you are aware that public participation was done.
Yes, I'm aware that there was an arrangement to do public participation on Monday.
And the notice was made on the 22nd of February.
That is true, Mr. Speaker.
And asked for public participation 4 days thereafter on the 23rd.
True, Mr. Speaker.
Okay. Did you have a chance to participate in the public participation?
No, Mr. Speaker. I was away in Nairobi.
Yes.
I heard about it, that there was that kind of exercise to be carried out.
And have you received any report for purposes of defending yourself from the public participation?
No, Mr. Speaker, I have not.
Okay, so you don't know what it is there, and you cannot respond to it.
Yes.
Okay. However, it is true that you received one complaint, report sent to the county clerk raising complaints against you and supporting this motion, isn't it?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, that happened. I received
that what?
kind of
Yes.
complaint.
Served on you directly.
Yes.
Okay. And that is at page 56 to 58 of your bundle.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Could you tell the court, could you tell that this assembly, it is a report made on which date?
The report was made on the 26th of February 2024, Mr. Speaker.
And it is made by who?
It is made by Denson Nyagaka.
Benson Nyakaka Masario. And could you read just paragraph A of what he says he wants you to come and tell this assembly?
Mr. Speaker, the complaint I received from Nyagaka
I just want you to read paragraph A.
He
says
he's asking the Honorable Speaker,
just read it.
Mr. Clerk, I beg to give notice of the following grounds in the support of the motion notified and tabled on the 13th February 2024 and substantively moved on the 21st of February 2024, and that then availed for the public participation through a notice inviting public for public participation published in newspaper on 22nd February 2024.
Okay. And you have responded to also those concerns that Benson has raised.
Mr. Speaker, I've responded to those concerns
And
in our bundle of documents that we shall table.
And we shall table, or we have already tabled, Mr.
Yeah, we've already tabled it.
Yes.
Speaker. I beg your pardon.
And you like on that one you've responded to at paragraph 49 to 65 of your affidavit. Sorry, 49 to 64 of your affidavit.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
And you'd like to rely on what you've written there without necessarily going back to what you've
That
explained.
is very true, Mr. Speaker.
Okay. With that then, did you want to